after all the reveals the last chapter, and the next one, I'm hoping isn't just going to be, more information. And though information is important, I do want to see a little bit of, Alderaan's K-pop. I guess we can't get too much of an information chapter unless it stays with Celine, because nobody in Drasil knows anything about what's going on with her and how she's been, apparently puppeteering the White Witch along, which makes me very curious of how her role is going to really be affected now, and when it seems that Celine is going to be like a much kind of like the one really in position of this. But like, is she going to end up turning on her, and she's going to kind of become like this free-for-all villain? There's a lot of antagonists right now, and I think that's really interesting the way that's all presented. But it maybe will further get closer to my whole theorization, I don't think that's the word, my theory, my hypothesis and prediction that Diablos isn't going to actually be bad. They're depicted almost like enemies, but really like all the dragon gods, at least one point or another, seem to be very problematic. The only one that we've seen so far out of the four that's really been, quote unquote okay is Nurse Phobia, but he only switched over and decided to become a good guy, whereas like Ignia, Alderaan, and Celine all seem to be very, very not pro-humanity, but as it were. So we found out that Celine, wanted the White Witch to unseal Alderaan. I'm guessing that maybe the reason that she couldn't touch it had to do with her powers. Maybe the White Witch is going to have some it's going to have some connection to Dragon Slayer magic. Maybe she's going to have some form of relation to it and maybe actually be a dragon or something weird, because she couldn't touch it, but then it's like, well, why didn't Celine go and do it? And it's like, oh, well, maybe the orbs seal dragons specifically. There's still mystery in there that we don't really know. But there was my theory that it was partly that the White Witch was Celine, but it actually turns out related to Celine because of the whole aspect that like her ability to seemingly like void out magic, and the whole white theme could somehow tie into the moon. Obviously the moon being a very massive white object in the sky at night. But one thing to note about it is, we remember back with Moon Drip that the moon has like dispelling properties within the fairy tale world. So there was something in there to kind of really note at, and it looks like it wasn't just a tinfoil hat theory. It looks like that was the case. So then now it's like, well, what is Celine's like real big goal? What is she doing all this for? And from what we got so far, just from the base premise, is she wants to see the world distorted and pretty much just brought to ruin. So in comparison, the moon looks like, looks way more pristine, looks way better. A very unique, very unique motivation I can think of for like villains. Like there's obviously lots of different kind of like bad guys and all their different kind of goals and end game schemes, but I don't think I've heard anywhere it's like, I want to destroy the world so the moon looks better by comparison. And I'm really hoping that one of the ways that maybe we tie this is because 100 Years Quest has done a stellar job of nodding back to older things. And one of the things that we could get, something again like Moon Trip, something that's existed all the way since Galuna Island, is that we could get maybe an explanation of how some of these people knew how to even do it. Maybe like those moon cultist kind of guys stemmed their religious knowledge and stuff out from the idea of Celine. We know the concept of dragon gods wasn't completely confined to Giltina. It was just, really where it happened. Everything else could have just been, whispers and rumors, because August had a comment about the dragon gods to God Serena. That whole portion, though, we can't really say like how much weight behind it. It's just the fact that clearly the idea of dragon gods, not necessarily these five, but just the concept of them and them being these supreme dragons somewhere in the world, was a possibility. Now, I really want in the next chapter, I really want to find out in the next chapter just what the plan is for the Fairy Tale Guild, because I don't see them really being able to contend with Alderaan at all. I don't see it. I don't even think if they just put all their magic into Natsu that they could really fight him. I mean, even if you brought like Brandish back, and let's throw Brandish in there, Spriggan level character, she used all of her magic to make Natsu gigantic and fight him. I still don't think that's really gonna do anything to Alderaan. And it would be kind of weird to build him up just to defeat him right here, because the difference between him and I think the Mirthphobia is with his was more of the mystery of what happened, and it was the setup between Ignia and the setup of like Knots in the future. With Alderaan, we already saw with Celine that there's going to be like ramifications for Alderaan just being awake, because Alderaan seems to have maybe a little bit more heavier significance than the other Dragon Gods. Maybe we'll find out. Maybe the reason that he was wounded is he wanted to, he fought Acnology at one point, maybe he didn't die or something. Or maybe, that answer made a different dragon, maybe it was like the other dragon gods did not want to fight Acnology at one point in time. Alderaan did. They had to stop him. Maybe he was the strongest of them at one point. Not now. I would like to assume not now. I mean, he's like the second one we're really seeing. It would be very weird if the second one is the most powerful. But maybe at the time of he was the strongest, so all the other ones had to take him down. But over this course, he's just gotten bigger, whereas Ignia has gotten way more powerful over who knows how long he's been asleep. But I really want to see that. That's my main hope for the next chapter, is we find out, are they going to try even to fight him? I think they need to get out of there. I don't think they have the chance to really, beat him. The only time we've seen anyone that can, go up against him at a main cast is Natsu, only with Ignia's Flames. And the Fairy Tail Guilds, I mean, really, out of the main team, they already have their, by far, largest quantity. Their other big characters didn't have Laxus and they didn't have Guild Arts. But really, all of the main cast is pretty up there with them. And I still think Natsu, once he pops Dragon Force, it's the strongest member of the guild. But all of them, going against Mirthphobia, even at less than half, were not even able to really budge him. And I know they did break out their full extent, you didn't see Urza with any swords, when he didn't bust out that fraction of Irene's power she had, Lucy didn't break out Stardust Mix. Regardless of that, even if they did that, I mean, do you really think that it would have made much of a difference if all of them together at the same time were not even doing anything to a half-powered Mirthphobia? Not even half. Ignia and the officials said not even half. But anyway, look forward to that next chapter. It's actually really interesting that we saw Alderaan first. We still haven't seen his dragon body, but we saw Celine's dragon body, human body. We haven't seen her dragon body first. That's kind of cool. I like that, because it was kind of swapped around, similar to Ignia and Mirthphobia, where we saw Mirthphobia in his human form, then his dragon form, and then Ignia showed up dragon form to human form. I like that they have this weird kind of swap between these two in a way, and then that makes Varanus extra kind of stand out, because he's the one that Mirthphobia even said that he doesn't know anything about. Extra hidden secrety boy. But anyway, comment below, tell me your thoughts about what's coming up. It's going to be a hype one. We're probably going to get, a couple real big action chapters, but I think they're going to have to retreat. I think they're going to have to pull out, because I don't really see a way for them to really contend with Alderaan right now. And I don't think Ignia is just going to show back up again. I really would not like that, as much as I'd like to see Ignia, and it'd be cool to see Natsu get powered up again and beat him up. I don't really want to have that just be the idea behind all of these. And I think it'd be cooler to have the second one, they have to retreat, and it's we need to figure out, what exactly to do before we go up against this guy again. Because if, Alderaan, even if he's not the strongest dragon god, the fact he's so large is just a massive contending point. I mean, that alone is just immense. And we haven't even seen the aspect that he can, read hearts and minds. So that's gonna, give him an extra level of danger if he can know who to focus on. I mean, really, does he need to even focus? He could just just stamp his hand down on his other hand and take out that, miles and miles and miles of range. But anyway, comment below, thumbs up the video, friend the like button, subscribe button, and check out my other videos. When I appreciate everyone's already subscribed. I thank you all for listening. Bye.